So there's something that I talk about in the 21st Century Agency module called preemptive rebutting or preemptive rebuttals. And what a preemptive rebuttal is, if you know that an objection is going to happen, you hit that objection, you rebut that objection preemptively, right? Without the client knowing really that you kind of expect that that client has that objection. For example, anytime long-term care insurance comes up, for the most part anytime, you know that those consumers are going to have two different objections or two different preformed notions. And they're not preconceived, they're preformed because they're fairly accurate. The first one is, well, price increases. You know, my Aunt Betty, she had a policy and the prices increased, the premiums increased by 80 or 90% for year after year after year. And the second preformed notion or preformed objection is, if I don't use it, I lose it. I pay all this premium. If I just die without going into the nursing home, then what happens? I've wasted all of my premium. Anybody that's been in the long-term care space for any period of time knows that those are the number one and number two. I don't know which one would be one and which one would be two, probably about equal. Those are the number one and number two objections to traditional long-term care insurance. What if you preemptively rebutted those objections by saying a couple things, which is true? Number one is, you know, the old long-term care policies, I mean, the prices on those things, they just skyrocketed because of, well, for whatever reasons, lapse rates at the carriers as well as low interest rates. But Mrs. Prospect, Mr. Prospect, today's long-term care policies of the hybrid nature have guaranteed prices, guaranteed premiums, and guaranteed benefits as well. So that really does away with the notion that premiums are going to increase on these policies. You know, and if you do that preemptively with the client never having brought it up, you know, I was going to ask you about that. There is something powerful in addressing something before the client has to address it to you. When the client says, I was going to ask you about that, really. So number one, guaranteed prices, guaranteed benefits. Number two is this. And the second area, you know, these products, I mean, it used to be that if you didn't use it, you would lose it. If you don't go into the nursing home, then you've wasted all your premium. That's not necessarily the case with these new products. Some of these new products have cash value in them, but a lot of these new hybrid products have death benefits in them that go on to the beneficiary. So it's not a if you don't use it or lose it proposition. So what I just explained in this video are the two concerns, the two objections that consumers 9 times out of 10 have with the long-term care product thought. So that's the first thing that I've addressed, is what those two objections are and how to rebut them. But then the second thing is preemptively rebutting their objection, as I talk about in the 21st Century Agency.